Welcome to Electric Stretch with Rewiring America. Today I will take you through a routine that will help you reset your mind and body. I'll be your stretching instructor, Ari Matuziak. All right, everybody, let's get moving! Give me a nasty beat, brother Jeff. Oh yeah, that feels good. Feel free to stand if that feels okay to you. Okay, everyone, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna open our arms to the sky and inhale. Up and down. Oh yeah, and I want you to look excited because you're a new homeowner and you're just excited about the prospect of electrifying your life and ditching those stinky fossil fuel machines. You never liked them anyway. You're feeling peppy. You're feeling good. Very good job, Esteban. Oh, you look great. Oh yeah, you're seeing heat pumps and solar panels and all of the things in your future. But for our next move, look confused, throw your arms up, scrunch up your face. Why? Because you're just a normal person and you don't know how the heck to do all this electrification stuff. You're not a scientist, you're just a person. What the heck? I'm not a tax expert. Well, you're not either. So what the heck are we gonna do? I'll tell you what you're gonna do. You're gonna bend at the waist. 5, 6, 7, 8. Bend at the waist and type. Get a good hamstring stretch. Type. Oh my gosh, we're going to rewiringamerica.org. Bend at the waist and type. And we're getting our complicated home electrification questions answered. Oh my gosh, this website. Bend at the waist and type. Nice typing, Tally. Seems like a very big keyboard, but very good work. Kavina, good typing. Bend at the waist and type. Oh, this is great. We're learning all the things. We know how to get rebates now. Now, take our arms above our head, lean back, and squeeze them across our chest. Oh yeah, squeeze them across our, get a really big stretch, lean back, chest open. Arms out, and squeeze. To start our electric journey, we learned that we should start with something that's not even a machine. We're gonna start with insulation. That's what we're doing right here. Cuddly insulation. We're keeping our home cool in the summer and warm in the winter. Insulation often comes first, but it doesn't have to. Just depends on your own situation. All right, very good facial expression, Vikas. Very good shorts. Very good mustache. Very good mustache. Okay, next, this is one of my faves, the rock star of a home. Let's do the heat pump. We're gonna start our arms up to the side and go down. Here's how it goes. Arms, yes. Then we'll take them down across our body, being sure to get a nice little twisty twist in. Like a heat pump, we're taking heat from outside our home and moving it inside our home. And I'm hearing something off camera. I think Rahul's daughter is asking him a question.
Why are you doing that?
That's a very good question. Yeah, very good question. Why are you doing this, Dad? Now, okay, now check this out, party people. Let's go in the opposite direction. 5, 6, 7, 8. Now we're taking heat from inside our home and moving it outside. Our heat pump is now an air conditioner. Amy has a heat pumper sexy shirt on with the heat pump behind her. Very nice. Try not to fall, Peter. Yeah, be safe. Yeah. Okay, now you got it. All right, moving on to another energy-saving, money-saving, carbon-reducing heat pump. We can install a heat pump water heater. Guitar solo. All right, here's how we're gonna do it. We're gonna take our arms to the side while bending down. It goes like this. Arms to the side and up. Yes. Arms out while your legs go down and up. See that? Yeah. Arms down while your legs go down and up. Because like a heat pump water heater, we are extracting heat from the surrounding air and then using it to heat the water for our faucets and showers. So we're gathering the air from the air outside and up to our faucets and showers. One more. Let's do 2 more. Up. Yeah. And up. All right, party people, we're gonna do some neck stretches. On these neck stretches, I might go a certain speed. You don't have to go that speed. You can go slower, whatever feels good in your body. And I have a question for you. Do you like climate warming gases? You're gonna say no and no. Turn your head to the side. You like methane coming out of your house and benzene and formaldehyde? No. Do you like wasting money? No. No. Oh, good job, Joel. Very good stink face. Joel does not like any of these things. No. And no. And no. No. Do you like inefficient machines? No. Oh, Serena, great job on the nose. No. And no. And no. And no. But I do have one question. Do we want to dramatically cut our emissions? I say yes. 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 You want to feel more comfortable? Yes. 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 And do you want to save both loads of money? Yes. Yes. Ooh, good yeses, everyone. Yes. Now, we want to up our cooking game. We're tired of breathing in benzene and other carcinogens that leak from gas stoves. Yes, even when they're turned off. So to do that, we're gonna get an induction stove and play this guitar solo. Let's run in place as speedy as those little boily bubbles that pop up in record time when we boil water with our induction stove. Go as fast as you can. Ooh, nice. Amanda and Kelsey running around each other. Feel free to do that with your partner if you want. That's great. Oh yes, not just speedy. Induction stoves are safer and way easier to clean than gas. Okay, who's tired? Me. We're gonna bring it home with our final move. We're gonna take a deep breath in and out. Here's how it's just gonna go. Up, we're gonna go a little slower. And out. Oh, we're just celebrating your awesomeness. We electrified our lives. Oh, we did all of the things and down. 42% of our emissions come from the energy-related emissions in our home and the cars that we drive, so you are to be commended for cutting a huge chunk of those by electrifying your home. It's not on you or us to do this by ourselves, but it's incredible to know that we have lots of power. We can charge the world to save the world. I hope your stretch was enjoyable. To learn how you can go electric, visit rewiringamerica.org. Thanks for stretching with us.
Hi, Rewiring America. My name is Gaurav Basu. I'm a primary care doctor, and I'm going to show you my electrified home in Massachusetts.
And hey, doctor, I was just walking through the neighborhood.
You were just around.
Yeah, I was just walking through
Welcome
the neighborhood.
in. Let me show you my favorite. This is our heat pump.
Oh, it's a beauty.
So as like primary care doctor, especially when we had kids, like we just realized like there's this invisible stuff in your home that is not healthy.
This is a mini split, right?
This is a mini split, yep.
Yeah. So there's ducted, there's mini splits, there's some that can just go in a windowsill for an apartment without having to do much of anything.
Next up, induction stove.
Ooh, exciting.
I really think that in the future, we're gonna wonder how the heck we allowed volatile combustible gas, like funneled in from a pipe out there right into our home.
I mean, it's basically gonna be like in the 70s inviting your friends over and they're just smoking in your living room.
Like as a doctor, like I don't want to wait for people to get sick and come to me. Like we've got to proactively put health in people's homes and build health, you know, into our infrastructure. So this was the first thing we did after we moved into our house. We had to redo our roof, and then we said we got to put solar panels in right away. All right, Leah.
There's a lot going on right here.
This is the climate corner. This is our heat pump. Then we've got our little EV charger.
And then what's this bad baby right here?
This is our newest thing, is we got an EV recently.
I mean, the thing is, if you're charging an EV, it's like $1, $2 a gallon. When you compare that to the pump, you know, $4, $5 a gallon, it's way cheaper. And when you've got solar coming into your house, the costs fall even more because that solar panel, you know, it starts to almost make free energy.
All right, Leah, down to the basement, which is the play zone and also the climate solution zone.
Yes, and those are your electric dryers.
Electric clothes dryer.
Yeah.
Yep. So we don't have any, you know, no gas going into washer dryer. Do you always fumble over this word? It's a long word. Heat pump water heater.
And I can't say I
Heat
fumble
pump
over it.
water heater.
And sometimes when you write reports, it's called an HPWH. That's what we call them.
I mean, you know, the solar panels are fun, the heat pumps are fun, the induction stove, like they feel really good, but we should not underestimate, like the workhorse is this insulation.
And it actually kind of is the complement to all the other machines, because this will make the heat pump work better, right? This will help you save even more money on your energy bills.
You know, it's like all these things work together. You just chip away. Sometimes people can do it all together. Sometimes it takes a while, but I don't know. It just felt it felt good to just get started. They're better. They're normal. They work well. There's like less upkeep. Like, they're great.
Yeah.
Extraordinary electrics. Extraordinary electrics. Extraordinary electrics.
With Dan McAllister.
Just smoking in front of this baby. Now, before you get worried, know that this isn't a real cigarette, and this isn't even a real baby. But new research shows that gas stoves are just as bad, if not worse, than secondhand smoke. Gas stoves emit benzene, nitrogen dioxide, carbon monoxide, formaldehyde, and the particulate matter that contributes to smog. What's worse is that gas stoves often emit these gases even when they're turned off. Yuck. What if I told you there was a fancy new futuristic stove that didn't emit any of these toxic gases? What if I told you this future stove also cooked food faster while giving you more precise control over your cooking? And what if I told you this futuristic stove was more energy efficient and was way easier to clean than a gas stove? Well, guess what? This stove of the future, it's already here. May I present induction. This isn't your grandma's electric stove with the hot coils that take 2 hours to get hot. Au contraire, induction is an entirely different technology. Induction stoves used to just be for fancy pants people, but in recent years, prices have come down while the technological advancements have gone up, up, up. So how does induction work? In short, magnets.
Magnetic magic.
Okay, yeah. Electricity flows through copper coils underneath an induction stove's glass or ceramic surface. This creates a magnetic field, which then creates a fast-moving electric current in the metal of the pan itself. If we zoom in really, really close on this pan here, we can see the electrons responding to this magnetic field, twirling around in circles and having a sweet dance party. Their movement is why our pan gets hot. As opposed to a gas stove or even an old school electric stove that is just heating up the bottom of your pan, with induction, our entire pan is now the heating element. This means more even cooking temperatures for you. This also means less energy is wasted. On a gas stove, only 40% of the energy produced is transferred to your food. On an induction stove, 90% of the energy is transferred to your food. That is some energetic food. I know it might be hard to believe, but on an induction stove, the cooking surface doesn't get hot. Let me show you. Check this out. Right here we have some boiling water. You see the bubbles and the steam? Cool, it's boiling. Now I'm just gonna move this over here, and then I'm gonna put my head right where this was boiling. You see, again, our surface doesn't get hot. Yes, some of the heat from the pan transfers to the surface, but the surface itself isn't the thing that's generating heat like a gas stove or an old school electric stove. Again, we're relying on
Magnetic magic?
Exactly. This is much safer with kids or clumsy grown-ups in the house and leads to a much cooler kitchen. But again, please don't try this at home. It also means cleaning is much easier. Cleaning a gas stove is like chiseling petrified food off a dirty dumpster. Cleaning an induction stove is like wiping a mirror. And if all of that wasn't enough, induction stoves cook faster than gas stoves, which is kind of the whole point of a stove. To prove it, let's have ourselves a little race. Gas stoves versus induction stoves. Who can boil water first? For this race, we will be using this same pot on both stoves. We will fill up this pot with exactly 6 cups of water. We will turn both stoves to their highest setting, and we'll see who can boil water first. I will also be speeding up our video. Okay, on our marks, get set, go!
And we're off. Induction jumps out to a very early lead. Gas stove is very, very far behind. Where do you have bubbles on the induction stove side? Where do you have steam on the induction stove side? Gas stove, nowhere close. Induction stove is really heating up right now. We are close to boiling. Induction stove boiling at 4 minutes, 20 seconds. What an absolute blowout. Gas stove is walking on the other side of the track. In addition to its noxious fumes, it is just very, very slow. It's like a little baby turtle versus Seabiscuit. Induction stove has been done now for 7 minutes. We still don't have full boiling on a gas stove. We finally do. Induction stoves, unequivocally faster than gas stoves.
To close, I want to show you something. See this little guy with the respirator on his face? That was actually me when I was a little kid. I had and still have really severe asthma. I had to use this little machine 3 times a day because quite regularly I couldn't breathe. Well, today, study after study shows that gas stoves are directly linked to childhood asthma. In December 2022, a peer-reviewed study revealed that 12.7% of current childhood asthma cases in the US can be attributed to the use of gas stoves. That's 1 in 8 kids. An earlier study found that having a gas stove in the home can increase the risk of childhood asthma by 42%. Now, not all cases of childhood asthma are from gas stoves. Many cases, like mine, are genetic, but asthma can be triggered by respiratory irritants in the air, and children are especially vulnerable because their lungs and immune system are still developing. So if we can reduce the chances of our kids getting asthma, wouldn't we want to do it? And if we replace our gas stove with an induction stove, we have no emissions. We'll cook our food faster. We'll use less energy. We'll have more precise control, and we'll have an easier time cleaning. It's a win-win. Win-win-win.
Magnetic magic.
Exactly. Induction stoves are magnetic magic. To learn more about induction stoves and how you might be eligible for an $840 discount on one, go to homes.rewiringamerica.org.
Extraordinary electrics. Extraordinary electrics.
Extraordinary electrics.
With Dan McAllister.
What if your washing machine could wash your clothes and make you a sandwich? Imagine if your hairdryer could dry your hair and make you coffee. Okay, maybe these appliances don't exist, but there is indeed a very real appliance that is 2 devices in one. This is a heat pump. Insert magical sound effect. It can replace both a traditional air conditioner and a home heating system, like your furnace or boiler. Would you like to learn how a heat pump works? Yeah! Okay, I'd love to tell you. As opposed to a natural gas or oil burning furnace that is literally burning fuel to create heat, which, by the way, wastes a ton of energy, heat pumps use electricity to move heat from one place to another. Heat pumps pick up heat from the air outside, even in a frosty cold winter, and deliver that heat as a cozy little gift to you while you're inside your home drinking hot cocoa and reading classic literature. Oh, but there's more. That heat pump that is sending you sweet baby heat angels can also be reversed. Heat, aka thermal energy, can also be moved from inside your home to outside your home, and voila, that heat pump is now an air conditioner. Heat pumps are 2 to 3 times more efficient than many traditional heating systems. What's that mean? That means you use less energy and save more money. Heating and cooling account for 45 to 50% of your electric bill, so these savings really add up. And just when you thought heat pumps couldn't get any cooler, oh, thank you. Heat pumps can reduce your carbon emissions. Heating and cooling account for 60% of our home emissions. Heat pumps can reduce your heating-related fossil fuel use by 40% or more. So to recap, a heat pump is 2 devices in one, is 2 to 3 times more efficient than traditional systems, saves you money, reduces carbon emissions, is way comfier. It's pretty rare that an appliance is 2 devices in one, but that's a heat pump for you. A heat pump can both heat your home and it can make you a No. A heat pump can heat your home and it can cool your home. I hope you learned a lot today. Thank you so much for watching. And for more information, go to homes.rewiringamerica.org. Good morning, everyone. My name is Dan, and today I'm going to lead you through a morning stretching routine that will increase your mobility, relieve stress, help you make friends, improve your posture, and prepare your body for the day. But this routine is way cooler than your typical stretching routine, because while we're stretching, we're gonna learn how you can electrify everything in your home, which will fight climate change, improve the quality of your life, make you friends, improve the quality and safety of your life, and just save you a lot of money. The recently passed Inflation Reduction Act offers homeowners or even renters all sorts of free money to get awesome new stuff. Okay, first stretch, let's go. We are going to start off with our solar panel stretch. We're gonna reach our arms all the way up to the center of our body. Then we're gonna let our arms fall down to our side. We are reaching up to the sun, grabbing those sun rays and bringing them down to our sweet solar panel body. Hey, and speaking of solar panels, did you know that right now you can install a solar system in your home and subtract 30% of solar costs off your federal taxes? The average rooftop solar installation is like $19K, so that's like $4,700 back. Okay, next stretch. Now, let's turn this new sunlight into energy. Twist at the waist and let your arms gently hit your sides. Think of your arms as sweet baby sun rays and your body as a solar panel. When light strikes panels, it energizes electrons in the cells, causing electric currents to flow. So now we have electricity. Let's keep going. Now we need to convert this solar energy into a form that works best in our home. We're converting DC electricity into AC electricity. We do this with an inverter. So we are going to now invert our bodies. See what I did there? Let's bend down at the waist. If you can't touch your toes, it's totally okay. You can put your hands on your shins, on your knees, whatever's comfortable. Feel free to bend your knees if you need to. Just release everything. Now we are going to bend backwards. We're going to invert. Put your hands on your hips. I like to have my fingers kind of pointing down toward the ground on my lower back, pushing forward. Okay, now we need to store this converted energy from the sun. We need to store it in our battery. Our battery is going to be in our chest. Okay, so for our battery exercise, swing your arms, then slowly up again, really opening up your chest and spreading your chest wide. So just like this. Down, taking all that sweet solar energy. Hey, remember that 30% tax credit I talked about earlier? Well, a battery is part of it. You can get money off for your battery system too. Okay, well now that we have power coming in, we need to distribute it through our home. We need to do so with our electrical panel, with our new smart panel to be precise. So we're going to do this by turning our head. So turn your head to the left over your left shoulder. Look, we're sending power to a circuit over there. Oh, it's going to our dishwasher in our kitchen. Oh, that's really cool. We are going to send power over here to our bedroom. No, what's crazy is that electrical panels haven't really changed fundamentally since the 1960s, but these new fancy ones help you maximize your energy efficiency, which will dramatically reduce your electricity costs. Okay, now we're gonna look down. And here's what's cool as I talk into my microphone. This one is eligible for that 30% tax rebate, but this one, let's look up now, be gentle, is also eligible for just money taken off the top, up to $14,000 for home electrification projects. This one and a lot of others are eligible for that, so stay tuned. Okay, so with all that fancy new electronic infrastructure, we're gonna need better wiring. Lots of the stuff we wanna install requires a different connection, so let's do that now. Let's do some side bends. The wire going that way, the wire going this way, the wire going this way, and the wire going that way. Very good job, Taylor and Taylor. All the Taylors are very doing good side bends. Good job, Taylors. And guess what, you beautiful little bendy friends? This wiring can totally be paid for too. It's covered under the upfront discount I mentioned earlier, up to $14,000. Okay, now let's get to our fancy new appliances. Let's start with our electric heat pump exercise. Let's do some windmills with our arms. As opposed to old furnaces, heat pumps use electricity to move heat from one place to another. In winter, it pulls heat from outside and moves it into your home. Very good work, Sam. Beautiful form. Sam is such a natural. He just gets how heat pumps move and how they feel. Now check this out. Let's reverse our arms now. And like our reversed arms, heat pumps can also become air conditioners. In summer, the process is reversed. Warm air is pulled from inside your home and pumped outside. Let's go the other way. Heat pumps are 3 to 5 times more efficient than most current fossil fuel heating systems, so this will save you a ton of money. Back, and all of those discounts are available. The tax credits, and money taken off the top. Okay, let's get to our induction stove exercise. Let's do some adorable little bounces to signify the little boily bubbles that are coming up from our new induction stove. I hope you like my little bunny arms too, it's important. Gas stoves burn fossil fuels inside your enclosed home. Did you know that living with a gas stove is like living with a smoker? And oh yeah, a new induction stove is eligible for that upfront discount I talked about earlier. You could get up to $14,000. You could even get this for free with installation. Okay, so you think all those fun incentives are only for home appliances? Wrong you are, Tom. I know there are a lot of Toms watching right now, including Tom from MySpace. For the record, I'm talking to all the Toms. Okay, so you can get thousands of dollars off for an electric car. An electric car. So let's do our electric car stretch. Let's put our arms forward, punch them forward, really kind of straightening these arms. We're gonna grab our steering wheel for a second. Then let's clasp our hands. Now tuck your chin to your chest. Want to hear something bonkers? Right now, you can get how much? Oh, I don't know, $7,500 off a new electric car. Yeah, if you buy a used electric car, you can get $4,000 off. As my friend Steve Pantano will attest, that's probably like 141% off or something. Okay, that math is bad, but just talk to Steve, he'll tell you about it. Okay, but to charge our new electric vehicle, we're gonna need our fancy EV charger. So take your plug with your right hand from across your body, push your arm into your body with your other wrist and plug in your beautiful cord from your new electric wheels. Can you get a tax credit for this? Yep. Are you starting to feel more stretchy? Yes. Okay, now let's switch arms. Take the charger and plug it into the other side. Hey, and while I got you here, did you know that electric cars have better acceleration than comparable gas-powered vehicles? Also, did you know that when you drive an electric car, you're no longer at the mercy of petro-dictators and price-gouging oil companies? Yeah, that part's rad. Okay, last exercise. Remember how cool and fancy our heat pump was from earlier? Okay, well this advanced new technology is also available for your water heater and your clothes dryer. So let's just do some full body circles to commemorate these beautiful pieces of technology. Go all the way down, really bend back, take your time, be kind to your body, go in a circle, really bend down. You know, heat pump dryers use like 40 to 50% less energy than an electric dryer. And let's go the other way now, let's reverse the circles. Heat pump water heaters don't burn natural gas, so you don't risk burning down your home and you're not around all that pollution. All right, well, my friends, I hope your body is starting to feel a little better. I know mine does, because with that, we are done. To finish, let's just take some deep breaths. So inhaling as we bring our arms up, and then exhaling as we bring them down. Feel free to do this a few times. Thank you all for stretching with me this morning. And to learn how you can get all these fancy new rebates and tax credits, visit rewiringamerica.org. I love you. Thank you.
We want to show that you can make a good, comfortable home that heats and cools and cooks properly and doesn't rely on gas. DC is an interesting climate from a design standpoint because we're heating for half the year and we're cooling for half the year, so the house and its systems need to respond to both of those conditions.
So when we found this development opportunity, this house had a gas furnace, it had a gas stove, and as we were making our way through the plans, we decided very consciously to abandon gas service here, put in 2 heat pumps as our heating and cooling system, and switch our cooking from a gas range to an induction stove. Over the past 12 to 18 months, we are seeing home buyers become increasingly aware of some of the concerns that people have about gas cooking in their home. When buyers are given a choice, we're seeing them gravitate towards electric homes, electric heating, electric cooling, and electric cooking. The surfaces do not get hot, so it's a safety feature, but if a child were to touch this while it was on, they would not burn themselves, which is really nice for young families. So it heats up nearly instantaneously. Homeowner that comes to me and is considering selling, and they're asking which projects they should prioritize from an electrification perspective, the number one thing I would have them do is swap out a gas stove in favor of an induction range or cooktop.
In the DC area, it's common practice to heat and cool a house with two separate systems, one in the basement to serve the basement and first floor, and then another in the third floor to serve the sleeping level in the third floor, which is the case here. We're in the third floor now. We're feeling more and more comfortable that a heat pump, especially with an electric backup heat package on it, is more than sufficient. If full electrification isn't available financially to someone, I would simply say as you start to make improvements to your home, just start moving in that direction, whether it's a water heater, a cooking appliance.
It's absolutely easy to find contractors that understand heat pumps and induction cooking. It's in a lot of ways it's simpler than gas supplied utilities and cooking, and we have not had a problem sourcing contractors who can handle this type of equipment.
It's simply a matter of making choices that lead you toward electric solutions as opposed to gas solutions or other solutions. And most homes that can be served and heated and so forth with gas can simply do so with electric, just by making sure you have enough capacity at the electric panel. And if you don't, it's generally easy to increase your service so that you will. I certainly hope that we'll be doing more fully electric homes as we move forward. There's certainly a market for it, and it's a matter of making sure that the property supports it and the marketplace demands it, and right now that's what we're seeing.
When you're cooking in an electric kitchen, it is so much nicer. Induction, it just heats up so incredibly fast. It surprises you each time and you're just like, what? It's on, and count to 10, you're good. So I can boil water on mine really, really rapidly. And then on the low end, you know, we can kind of Ron Propeel, like set it and forget it, and it just keeps this really stable low temperature. So it has that full range of output. It's so clean. We can wipe it down regularly instead of having to like take these giant cast iron grates and scrub them in the sink. It's very quiet. We can listen to the music and we can hear the food. You can hear whether or not something is actually searing. So that kind of gentleness of an electric kitchen really helps you use those senses that maybe, you know, are being drowned out by this whoosh of fire. It definitely keeps us cool in the summer. You don't have to be in this, you know, hot, stressful environment all day long. It can just be stressful.
This video is part of Electrify Everything, a very short course. In this episode, we ask, why are heat pumps so cool? We'll use colors to represent temperatures. This red will be for when it's hot outside, say 90 degrees Fahrenheit in summer. This yellow will be a comfy temperature, close to what we might call room temperature, like 70 degrees Fahrenheit in spring. And blue will be for cold, like when it's 0 degrees Fahrenheit in winter. A house with no heat will be cold on a cold day. To heat it up, you need something hot like a fire. And we'll use a red arrow to represent flowing heat. The heat produced by the fire warms up the house, and as the house warms up, heat starts to leak out, and that's because heat naturally flows from warmer to cooler places. Adding insulation, represented here by thicker lines, reduces the leaking heat, which is represented by the smaller arrow, and that's a basic explanation of home heating by fire, which humans have been doing for thousands of years. Instead of a fireplace, many homes use a boiler or furnace for home heating. Most boilers burn fuel oil, fossil gas, or propane to heat water. And I made a little model of a boiler with a glass of water being heated by a candle, which represents the fuel. And a pump moves the hot water to a radiator, which heats the room. And most boilers are over 80% efficient, meaning that at least 80% of the energy from the fuel source is used to make the water hot. Another form of heating is electric resistance heating. Here, electricity passes through resistance wire, such as nichrome, and it heats it up. It even glows, as you can see in the video. And your probably familiar with the glow of resistance heating since it's used in space heaters, old school electric burners, and toasters. Resistance heaters can be 100% efficient at turning electricity into heat, which sounds great, but we can do even better than 100% using heat pumps. So the type of heat pump shown here has an indoor unit connected to an outdoor unit, and instead of producing heat from burning, like in the fireplace, boiler, or resistance heater, it's just pumping heat from a lower to higher temperature. Surprisingly enough, even very cold air has heat available for pumping. The heat pump uses a fluid called a refrigerant to absorb and move heat. These images are taken with a thermal camera where blue is cold and red is hot, and the heat pump makes the refrigerant colder than it is outside so that it absorbs heat. So even if it's 0 degrees Fahrenheit outside, in cold climate heat pumps, the refrigerant can be made even colder than that so that the heat will flow into it. Then the heat pump moves the refrigerant inside and it makes it hotter than it is inside to release the heat. The refrigerant is actually similar to this red fluid absorbing heat from my hand. In fact, this is a rough model of how a heat pump works. The heat naturally flows into the refrigerant and then it's moved around. But obviously it's a little more complicated than that, so let's check out this heat pump exhibit at the Exploratorium in San Francisco. Here, the refrigerant is sealed in these pipes, and I'm powering a compressor to increase the pressure and heat the refrigerant. Then I open a valve and release the pressure, which expands and cools the refrigerant. And if we look at it through the thermal camera, the left side gets cold and the right side gets hot. So after the valve, the refrigerant expands, gets cold, and absorbs heat. And then it flows to the other side where the refrigerant is compressed, gets hot, and dumps heat. And this is how heat flows into the cold side and out from the hot side. And actually, this is how an air conditioner works. Electricity provides the energy to run the compressor, which I've indicated with a yellow arrow, and it's not hand cranked, as you might have guessed. And a heat pump is really just a reversible air conditioner that can both heat and cool. So here, it's cooling down the inside of the house by pumping it to the outside on a hot day, and that's opposite the direction that heat naturally flows. And here, it's heating up the inside of the house by pumping heat in from the outside on a cold day, again, opposite the direction it naturally flows. Best of all, heat pumps can be 400% efficient, which is pretty cool. But what exactly does that mean? Well, it means that while boilers and furnaces that produce heat by burning fossil fuels can be around 80% efficient or, better, up to 100%, and electric resistance heaters that produce heat from electricity can be 100% efficient, heat pumps that use the same amount of electricity are really just pumping existing heat and can be 400% efficient, giving you much more heat than the energy you put in. And this is another reason we say that electrification is the efficiency, because if we switch from fossil fuels to electricity, particularly in heat pumps, we can have much more efficient appliances. So, in summary, heat flows from warmer to cooler by itself. It can be produced by burning fuels and by electric resistance. And heat that already exists can be pumped very efficiently by an electric heat pump for both heating and cooling, even on a very hot or cold day. All right, if you've got any questions, email us, schools@rewiringamerica.org.
Americans, please listen to us. We have a question we like to discuss. Do you want to save the world and save a lot of money too? 'Cause you can go electric and leave the CO2. 'Cause did you know 42% of emissions in our lives come from machines in our home and the cars that we drive? It's time to get the fossil fuels out of your home. Call your electrician, pick up the phone. We need to electrify everything. How we heat our homes, how we cool our homes, how we dry our clothes. Electrify everything. How we cook our meals, how we heat our water, how we power our wheels. Electrify everything. What if we told you the things you need are all available Inflation Reduction Act. Now inside this bill are a few provisions to help facilitate your green transition. You can get a better air conditioner or solar panels too, and the government will give you money, it's true. There are different rebates you can access through a discount up front, money back in your taxes. If you don't have lots of money, just sit back. The High Efficiency Electric Home Rebate Act. $40,000 you can collect. Here are a few of the incentives you can expect. Want to dump your furnace for a new heat pump? Get up to $80,000 to make the little jump. Get a smart panel, regulate electric flow. 4,000 up, but that's a lot of dough. You can get $1,600 to pay for weatherization, and this discount up fund covers installation. Electrify everything. How we heat our homes, how we cool our homes, how we dry our clothes. Electrify everything. How we cook our meals, how we heat our water, how we power our wheels. Electrify everything. Let's move on to other rebates you can commandeer. Tax credits you can get at the end of the year. Credit 25C and 25D. You can use them with the discount mentioned previously. For a heat pump water heater, you get 2K a year. And 30D gives you even more to cheer. $7,500 for a new EV or truck. $4,000 for a used car and save a buck. If you install solar panels, take a 30%. Better appliances reduce your carbon footprint. Electrify everything. How we heat our homes, how we cool our homes, how we dry our clothes. Electrify everything. How we cook our meals, how we heat our water, how we power our wheels. Electrify everything. For more on how to get all this free money, go to rewiringamerica.org.
A few nights ago, Stephen Colbert said this.
The nervous Nellies over at Consumer Reports are urging homeowners to consider going electric. Why? Because electric stoves are so safe? Kids, I don't want you inhaling particulate matter, so I bought us something that goes from room temperature to the surface of the sun with nothing in between. And when you turn it off, it stays hot for hours.
Stephen Tyrone Colbert. What? I think you might be thinking of your grandmother's electric stove. By the way, a lovely woman your grandmother was. But electric appliances are way better now. This right here is called an induction stove. Now I'm about to do something to make a little point for Stephen, but kids and adults, don't try this at home. And I'm just gonna turn my induction stove to the hottest setting, and I want you to see that this water is boiling. See, it's boiling. We have bubbles, we have steam. This is real boiling water right here. And now I'm just gonna do this. Yeah, right? Okay, can you do that on a gas stove or an old school electric stove? Nope. You know, Stephen, I think this is your windmills cause cancer moment. You don't know what you're talking about. Induction stoves stop being hot the second you take a pan off of them, or in my case, my face. And gas stoves increase childhood asthma and leak harmful cancer-causing chemicals even when they're turned off. Induction is safer, cleaner, and increasingly more affordable, especially with the Inflation Reduction Act. Stephen, I'm so confident induction is better. I challenge you to a scallop off. I'm actually allergic to scallops and they'll kill me if I eat them, but I know some amazing chefs who cook on induction and will make you some delicious induction scallops. And for everyone else watching, check out Rewiring America's IRA calculator to see how much money you can get for an induction stove or other electric appliances.
Have you ever thought about how your house affects the planet? As Thoreau said, what's the use of a house if you haven't got a tolerable planet to put it on? This is the story of transforming my house and making a difference. We now pay zero energy bills, we produce more energy than we consume, and we're doing our part to help the planet. I'm a single dad with two amazing daughters, and I've been thinking a lot about what kind of world we're leaving to our children, and my personal responsibility for that world. You've probably heard all the bad news about the climate crisis, melting polar ice caps, rising ocean levels, and bizarre weather. It seems pretty overwhelming sometimes, and maybe that makes you want to tune it out, even though you know it's real. But then there are those moments when you really wish there was something you could do about it. And then you think, what can I do to make a positive difference? That's the question I asked myself a few years ago, and here's what I came up with. I did a bunch of research and learned that our carbon footprint the amount of carbon pollution a family produces is the direct result of the food we eat, the stuff we buy, our transportation, and the energy efficiency of our home. Of these 4 things, improving our home was the most important change we could make to reduce our family's carbon footprint. So I decided I wanted to take our house, a wasteful energy consumer, and turn it into an energy producer. But how? I did some more research and found that it's possible to renovate a home so that it produces more renewable energy than it uses. It's called net positive energy, and it means rethinking the status quo. All this new information and awareness was making my head hurt. It felt like I was waking up for the first time to the reality that I actually had to do something. And then I discovered something really incredible. When I started doing something to help, I actually felt better. As I aligned my actions with my values, the feeling of being overwhelmed flipped into a feeling of strength and empowerment. So let me tell you how we did it. The first thing was to bring together a small project team: Caleb the carpenter, Bill the construction guy, and Mark the energy engineer. Mark and I began by pulling out some paper and starting to sketch. Quickly, the 10 key elements that needed to come together became clear. Roof and plumbing extensions, wall insulation, attic insulation and air sealing, basement insulation, high-performance windows, ventilation, better appliances, better lighting, solar electricity, and solar hot water. Not only were we going to renovate the house, we were turning it into a laboratory for eliminating our home's carbon footprint and increasing our sustainability. We were going to lower our costs and demonstrate how we could live in a way that felt true to our values. We started with some diagnostic testing to see where our house was consuming the most energy. An infrared scan, a way to make invisible energy use more visible, showed us the areas where we needed a lot more insulation. And a blower door test showed us where the big air leaks were. Insulation is like the layers of clothing we wear outside in the wintertime. Air sealing is like putting on a windbreaker over those layers to keep the cold air out. Both are important for optimal comfort. We designed a system that would allow us to install spray foam insulation directly on the outside walls of the house. We called it outsolation. First, we did 2 things to prepare. We extended out the gable ends of the roof to create an overhang and extended the piping for the water spigots and the gas meter. Then we built wall trusses and attached them directly over the existing siding. Once the trusses were in place, our insulator sprayed closed-cell foam on the outside walls of the house. Insulation performance is measured in R value. The higher the R value, the better the insulation and comfort. The spray foam more than tripled the R value of our walls, from a typical R13 wall to R43. Then it was on to the attic and the basement. In the attic, we air sealed all the gaps that the blower door test had shown us to keep the warm air in our house from leaking up into the attic, which had been causing ice dams, increased energy bills, and seriously reducing our comfort. Then we installed a radiant barrier in the attic to keep our house cooler in the summer. And finally, we blew in a bunch of cellulose made from recycled newspaper to bring the insulation value up to R76. In the basement, we used a simple system to insulate the concrete floor and foundation walls: moisture-blocking paint, a wood frame, and foam board. Then we simply created a new floor with painted plywood and new walls with sheetrock, and presto, a finished, comfortable space. Windows are invariably the weak link in any wall system. Our original windows were miserable, leaky, single pane with old storm windows that whistled on a windy winter day. We replaced them with triple pane, high-performance windows. The difference in comfort and energy performance is phenomenal. We've never experienced such high levels of comfort in any house before, ever. Warmer in the winter, cooler in the summer. The dramatically improved insulation levels mean that our home's interior surfaces are actually warmer in the winter, so we lose a lot less of our radiant energy to them. The conventional thinking is to stop insulating here. But if you go here, you get into a whole new zone of amazing comfort and almost non-existent energy bills. We also learned that with a very well insulated and draft-free house, it's really important to provide fresh air to the people living there. The myth for years had been to let the house breathe. But houses don't know how to breathe. They let in outside air not based on what people need, but on the outside temperature, wind conditions, and the amount and location of the air leaks around the house. The best idea is to build tight and ventilate right. We provided assured air quality for the house by simply upgrading our bath ventilation to a high-performance fan with a 24-hour timer. Now we all breathe fresher air, and it's easy to keep good relative humidity levels. and we get fewer colds and viruses. We're all healthier. Next, we did a bit of soul searching to look at ourselves and our behavior to see if there were any changes we could make to reduce our carbon pollution, to live more sustainably. We used a meter to go around the house and measure the electricity use of our appliances. We discovered that our clothes dryer used 6,000 watts, the equivalent of 600 10-watt light bulbs. So we unplugged it and gave it away. Hanging up our clothes on drying racks took a little while to get used to. It seemed like a hassle at first. Now it's just second nature. All of our other appliances are ENERGY STAR rated for high performance. Then we switched out all of our old incandescent light bulbs to new high-performance LED bulbs. We discovered that every energy-using product has two price tags, the purchase cost and the larger cost to power the product over its lifetime. LED bulbs are actually smarter and a lot cheaper than incandescents or compact fluorescents because they use a lot less energy and they last for many years. And finally, after cutting our energy use by more than half, we added the tools to allow us to produce our own clean energy, solar electric and solar hot water panels. The solar electric system provides almost twice the amount of electricity that our home uses. There's a rolling credit on our monthly account and we'll never pay another electric bill. The ground-mounted solar hot water system provides almost 70% of our annual hot water needs. And our ultra-low-flow shower head means we could theoretically take a 2-hour shower on 1 tank of solar hot water. As I was doing all this, I started to think about you. I thought about how I wanted to share this information to help you take control of your home's carbon footprint. So I started to take notes and snap a bunch of photos of our project so I could make this video for you. I wanted to show you what's possible. We ended up turning our home into a positive energy producer on a modest budget, and it wasn't that hard. In addition to the dramatic energy savings, we zeroed out our home's carbon footprint, improved our quality of life, and became the first renovated home in Massachusetts to produce more energy than we consume. And look at all of these other benefits that we get to enjoy. It's a win-win-win for our family, for the economy, and for the planet. Our project was a lesson in being bold, in not being afraid to try new things. And it's time for each of us to be bold and to take action now to address the climate crisis. Because frankly, we don't have a lot of time. So, use a carbon footprint calculator to measure your carbon pollution, and then do whatever you can to reduce it. Even if you can't do a full energy renovation on your house, do one or more of the 10 things we did, or do something completely different to reduce your carbon footprint. There are so many examples of great things that people are doing to be more sustainable, like Colin Beavan, who started the No Impact Man project to raise awareness about the benefits of personal carbon reductions, Marshall Saunders, who started the Citizens Climate Lobby to empower people to advocate for national policies to address climate change, and Annie Leonard, who created The Story of Stuff to motivate people to rethink their purchasing choices and build a healthier planet. And these are just a few examples. People just like you are doing extraordinary and inspiring things all around the world, and together are making big positive changes. You can be part of this, and you can make a difference. There are so many ways. Check it out. So, envision the future you want, and then get out there and do something to help make it happen. I look forward to seeing you on the path to a healthy and sustainable future.
Hey there, Mr. Heat Pump here on Valentine's Day. I just want to say to Maine, I love you. Thank you for seeing the true me. Just a guy who wants to work hard for you every day at any latitude. So thanks for trusting me to keep you warm on the coldest nights, no matter what the gas lobby says. And let's spread the love to the rest of the world. Happy Valentine's Day, my Maine squeeze. Your biggest fan, Mr. Heat Pump.
Hey, I'm Jonathan Scott. When I have free time, I love to dress up real fancy and boil water ridiculously fast on my induction range. I know, so fancy. In fact, with induction, you can boil water 2 to 3 times faster than those old, boring methods.
Gross.
Ew. You see, induction uses the power of magnets to heat the pot or the pan and not the surface of the cooktop, which means it's the fastest, safest, healthiest, and fanciest way to cook. For me, it's all about the perks. The surface doesn't get hot, it's perfectly consistent heat, and it's easy to clean up. I don't do my own cleaning. Ha! And just like that, you've got boiling water in no time at all with no gas emissions. And if you switch to induction now, you can get a ton of money back. For more information, go to rewiringamerica.org/fancy. And I've got a wine club to get to.
So what is a heat pump? It's the same technology as an air conditioner or as a refrigerator. Basically, it's using refrigerant, so a highly temperature sensitive liquid gas, depending on what temperature it's at. It fluctuates between the two. And it is absorbing heat, and then it's being pumped to another place and releasing the heat. The air conditioner absorbs heat in your entire house and releases it to the outside. The refrigerator absorbs the heat from the hot soup you put in and then releases it outside of the refrigerator. And it's similar in principle to a water pump, in that a water pump is not creating water. It's not, making water happen. It's just moving water from one place to another. A heat pump just moves heat from one place to another, and it does that through the medium of a highly temperature sensitive refrigerant. Heat pumps, now some people say, oh, I got a heat pump and it doesn't work. It's not providing me with enough heat. And it's true that an earlier version of heat pumps was not adequate to our northern climate. But now the cold climate heat pump is designed to be very efficient down to very cold temperatures. They can be designed to go down to -5 degrees to -13 to even greater than that, depending on the particular brand and model that you're looking at. They also come in a great variety of forms. We're going to be talking a great deal today about the ductless mini split. The ductless one is what's pictured here in the illustration. But you can have a whole home system that is ducted through your ductwork, or a whole home system that is ductless. You can have a partial solution, where a part of your home is heated with a heat pump. There are also ground source heat pumps in addition to air source heat pumps. Mostly talking about the air source heat pumps, but we'll mention the ground source, the incentives for ground source as well. So looking at a couple of the ductless indoor variations, the most common one is the wall hung unit that goes high on the wall. This is convenient for the installers because nothing's occupying that space. They can get in there and install that relatively quickly. And there's nothing blocking the airflow from that higher up space. So it's a good place to mix the whole, air in the room through that air handler. This is called a head or an air handler or an inside unit, various terminology. So that's the most common, it's the least expensive. There are also floor mounted units. They look basically like old-fashioned steam or hot water radiators in size and where they're located. These can be handy. You can put these on interior walls in the first floor, and actually the refrigerant line that connects it to the outdoor unit can run through your basement. So that can be handy in some designs, particularly on the first floor because heat rises. There are also ceiling cassettes in 2 different dimensions. These are more expensive to install. You have to be, cutting a hole in the ceiling to embed that in the ceiling, and so that makes it a little bit more expensive. And you really mostly these are only installed in places where the technician can actually stand and work in the attic that above that ceiling. So it's handy for homes that have a second floor where they want to put in ceiling cassettes and they have an attic where they can install those. Occasionally they do install them from below, but that's more unusual. So what about the outdoor condenser? These look like basically a huge suitcase, a rectangle. They're always up on a stand because in winter, there's a defrost cycle. And when it's defrosting, there's some moisture that's dripping off of here. And if you were sitting on the ground, you could potentially have ice form all around this, and that would block the airflow. You have to have airflow through these giant fans. So that's the main thing. You also don't want to put it right underneath an overhang where you typically get a lot of snow dropping off. You don't want to a huge weight hitting the top of these. Yeah, so basically you want to keep them free of snow, ice, leaves, dirt, that type of thing. And then there is the refrigerant line that goes from the outside unit into the house where the air handler or head is located. That refrigerant line is going to be hidden by some sort of vinyl covering. Why do we care about heat pumps at all? It's all about climate change. It's all about CO2. This is a chart from 2021, so it's a little out of date, but the principles still exist. Even with the current electric grid or the electric grid in 2021, heat pumps produced much less greenhouse gases than electric baseboard, oil, propane, and natural gas. And when the grid becomes 100% clean electricity, we have no emission from the electric sources of heat, and we continue to have greenhouse gas emissions, obviously, from the things that are not running on clean electricity. And you can already get clean electricity, 100% clean electricity, through many programs, including our own Green Powered program and many municipal aggregation programs.